Hey, it's Chris Knight, founder of Self-Intelligence. Welcome to another episode of the Self-Intelligence podcast, where everyday people just like you can get free expert guidance and support to resolve any personal problem or drama you're experiencing. You may have had the exciting experience of a honeymoon period in a relationship. This time is full of spontaneity, attentiveness, respect, and love in what seems like an endless horizon of possibilities to share your life with someone who reciprocates the same feelings towards you. However, slowly but surely, what started as openness, love, passion, and unlimited possibilities is replaced with blame, defensiveness, power struggle, game playing, judgment, and nitpicking that can erode into mistrust and heavy resentment that blocks the love and connection that created the relationship in the first place. My guest, who has chosen to remain anonymous, has reached out because they can feel the honeymoon period is ending in their new relationship and wanted to ensure the love and connection they have isn't tainted by ego, fear, and judgment. In this episode, we discuss why a honeymoon period ends, the process of navigating triggers, how to stop being a punching bag for love, why we mistake love for fear and get into our partner's business, and the secret to an endless honeymoon. Big thank you to my guests for taking responsibility to ensure the love and respect discovered in the honeymoon of their relationship continues to grow and mature into a sacred union. Thank you for coming and discussing what is a very important subject, which is the challenges that can arise when starting a relationship, when entering the beginnings, where often there are power struggles, there are concerns, fears, future projections. Is this the right person? Are we connecting? So many questions. There's such a lot of weight and pressure often placed at this point as things merge, and oftentimes it actually creates like a foundational platform in which the whole relationship builds on, right? So it's like the soil. And really important then to have an impeccable approach at this point, So yeah, I'd love to dive into this subject with you and discover a really respectful and loving based soil for this relating. So thank you for bringing this to us all. So yeah, why don't you start with what are some of the challenges that you've noticed arising at this point?
Well, we've been together. It's pretty early, like 3 months, but I've been away 5 weeks, so basically 2 months.
Yeah.
And I feel the honeymoon is a bit over. This time where everything's perfect. You don't want to see anything, and you're just enjoying. Now I'm just realizing the challenges, and sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, and I'm just realizing that we connect, but at the same time we're very different. So at the start I didn't want to see all of that. It was just like wonderful, blah blah blah.
Okay,
and
so let's reframe. Let's look at that for a sec. So oftentimes there's a honeymoon period, but the honeymoon period is rarely reflected on to what does that actually mean? What is a honeymoon period, and what creates a honeymoon period, right? Well, why does a honeymoon period even exist? So let's have a quick little look at that, because that's kind of key to the rest of it. Because the honeymoon period doesn't have to actually end in a way. Yeah. Of course, the way you relate to each other will change, but what is the honeymoon period really saying? What's your experience? You flow together, you're attentive to each other, there's a consideration, there's a respect, there's something that makes things feel like they're possible, there's spontaneity. There's all sorts of things, isn't there? Tell me your experience of the honeymoon that you've picked up.
Well, yeah, like you're saying, a nice feeling of connection, and it flows. You're just amazed that you've got common interest, and the intimacy, all of that, and the bond that's starting.
Yeah.
So you feel uplifted in a way, like you're saying, like everything seems possible, and the future seems, bright, and I kind of it's not a drug, but you feel high. In some way.
Yeah.
So
there, something starts to creep in, right? So what have you started to notice starting to creep in, which is taking this honeymoon period away? What have you noticed?
We've been arguing on a lot of So suddenly we spend time and we would be arguing on things instead of enjoying. It
Okay,
could be about,
arguing.
about politics, about values. For example, I invited her to a movie, and it was the French festival movie, and I was maybe too attached to my identity. I don't know, but I was happy for her to see this movie, and she hated it. She didn't like it. And then she complained about the seats because she had a back pain and it was too long. And I took it very personally. And, she has a right to not like a movie. It's a 1980s movie, so it's a bit old. And the girl, it's The Big Blue with Rosanna Arquette. And the girl is she's totally in love with this diver. She's a bit like, the girl character is a bit simplistic. And she didn't like that. And I can understand because, so she's very opinionated on things. And then I was very upset she didn't like it, but she has the right not to like it. So we started arguing on different things.
Yes.
So I've been realizing that we also come from a different background. So she likes to say that I'm middle class and she's a bogan, and she's really attached to this kind of lower class values, and I respect that. But so I don't know if it creates some tension, but we've got a bit of a different background. So all those things start to show up, and I don't want to lose this connection we have, because we have, it will come up with any woman that you have some differences in values. It can't just be the perfect match, So that's where we are at the moment, and I want to.
Wait! Hold back.
Yeah.
You were the perfect match in the honeymoon period. Yeah. And then everything that you just said is that the identity starts to come in.
Yes.
The identification, the I am French, I am middle class, she is bogan, as you say, which is suggesting like lower class kind of thing, right? And so each is starting to defend their identity. How do you defend identity? Or that generally comes through argument will manifest as an identity, right? As being defended, strengthened, these types of things. So oftentimes when people come together, the vast majority of relationships I've ever seen start with love and then become a war very quickly when the ego gets involved.
Yeah.
And not realize that war is unnecessary, because it is not thought of at the beginning of a relationship. This is here to end me over to love, end me, the identity, over to the connection, because that connection is of a higher value naturally, isn't it?
Yes.
Than it is to hold on to an 80s, 19, whatever it was, French movie or whatever that you felt that she should enjoy, and that if she doesn't enjoy it, it symbolizes that we may not be right for each other, or that it's a personal attack because I've loved this movie, and if I love it, that it means it's me, and then if it's me and then she doesn't like it, then now I've got to defend myself and wonder, is there something wrong with her? And all of this starts to happen. Yeah. So the initial connection is there to say, are you going to surrender yourself over, and not yourself as in like who you are, but actually surrender over your false self?
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is the challenge for people when they get into relationship instantly. There is a sense something in me is being taken away and I have to defend it, and not having the education, not having the background understanding, not having self-intelligence as an example, to understand that's actually working on my behalf. That's actually helping me, because the more I'm not identified as this delusional self I mistake myself to be, as you know, having done this work and having experience with this work, there's no other option actually without knowing that, but to create a war.
Yeah.
Right. I remember hearing this song when I was younger. It was like a dance song. This love is war. And I was like, that I can relate to. I experienced so many war-based relationships that were initially injected with profound levels of connection and truth and something so beyond actually this personal self. But at the time, I had no idea how to navigate to use that to my advantage in the sense of collapsing the false me. All right. So you don't lose yourself in a relationship that has love and connection. You actually win yourself.
Yeah.
That's the good news. But it doesn't feel like winning yourself. It feels like losing yourself. Okay, that's what it can feel like. That's why the judgments, the opinions, the honeymoon period feels like it's over. Okay, so firstly, you've got to come to that realization for yourself that this is it's a real time, non-conceptual spiritual practice, because most spiritual practices that I come to see are conceptual based.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the idea and maybe I even resonate with the idea, but it doesn't become real until something like a relationship happens. And then it's like, now I'm really in it. You see? So have you noticed that you both have this challenge at the moment with holding forts, holding up a position to defend?
Yes, but the good news, because I work on this with Cora as part of the training, and we did a trigger inquiry together yesterday. And
good.
And
let's make that really clear. So has done self-intelligence. So you know what a trigger inquiry is. A trigger inquiry is that when you get triggered in a relationship, and everybody gets triggered in a relationship, you know that when you get triggered, that's a time to go, let's do some work.
Yes.
And the work is the removing of the delusional you that is part of that trigger. Yes. Yes. So you were doing this with her. She's open to this.
No, with Cora. Sorry, Cora.
With someone in the community. Yes.
So I did this, and I did the movie story, these things about the French festival. And then it was last week. And then when I did it, I just felt, well, I'm a bit stupid to get so attached to that. She has the right not to like the movie. And so after that, I felt more relaxed because I felt, well, there is not something wrong with her. Even though I think there is a trauma associated to my grandmother in there, because I remember about the movie story, it was 10 days ago, I started to have thinking about my date, my girlfriend, like, oh, she creates drama and she does that to hurt me, some really kind of bad thoughts.
Yeah.
That are related to a grandmother that I had that was probably a bit disturbed, like punishing kids for nothing, like a bit strange.
Yeah.
And then I was associating this girlfriend I have the moment with this woman figure I had in my childhood. So it was getting into some kind of weird things. But when I did the trigger inquiry at the end, I felt, actually, I think I could see reality that I was making a story out of it, and that she had the right not to like the movie, and it was all fine. So the good thing is that we went through that together with the girlfriend, and we talked through it, and we were able to actually not get into a fight. Like, she spent the night with me and she didn't go home. We talked through it, and so I think it was a good thing that we both want to keep this connection, and we were able to talk about it.
Yes.
But the trigger inquiry helped.
Because without it, you have to defend.
Yes.
You don't even have a choice. You have to defend yourself. Whereas when you take yourself through the inquiry, one of the questions in the inquiry is, what are the past images that come with this trigger? And then that illuminated this trauma with your grandmother and how she treated you and so on. And it's like, you understand that the ego is constantly looking for proof of whatever it believes, right?
Yes.
So if it can connect the trigger with this partner of yours to the past, it can say, I can prove that this is how things are. I can prove that I'm a victim. I can prove that I'm being, whatever the thing is. And I best defend myself right? Because perhaps that trauma with your grandmother hasn't been resolved and it was something to defend yourself from, you see. So your inquiry may go further than to your grandmother as well, and become a very important chapter in bringing some closure and some healing to the perceptions and thoughts that you have around that situation, you see.
Yeah, no, I think I'm starting to put light on that. And there was another night where I had too much to drink, and it's even worse. Even though we almost never drink together, but just once I was just getting into some things that she was, creating drama. And so all these stories that women are manipulative was coming out, especially with the alcohol as well. And I was, the day after when I thought about it, I was just like, oh, this is nonsense, why I'm getting into this. So, this story is playing out again, like, like woman and her are just creating drama for nothing, and they manipulate me and they want to hurt me, this kind of nonsense.
Yes. So that's the belief. That's the belief.
Yes,
women want to hurt me. Women are manipulative. Women create drama for no reason.
Yes.
This is the type of inquiry that has to be taken to the witness deep within yourself. Because what's great about the relationship is you would not have known that you had those limited ideas, those dormant belief systems, right? Unless the relationship came into your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the perspective is, this relationship is to illuminate the dormant structure that runs my entire existence and chooses everything in my life, right? These fears, concerns, perceptions, they run everything. And so it's like, you're bringing up for me that concern. Now, once you clear yourself of it yourself, then if she is creating drama, because she may be, like, that part, you can't really know until you've cleared yourself, if you like, of the fear and the resistance and all of that, then she will be alone in her drama if she is creating drama. Because at the moment, if she's got you to bounce off, then you and her are together, like you're not alone in it.
Yes.
If you would like to discover who you really are beyond the voice in your head and emotional states that cause relationship drama, stress, health issues, procrastination, sabotage, addictions, essentially all the drama and personal problems you can think of, come and join me for the Wake Up Experience, which is the first step in freeing yourself from the inside out. See the link in the description for more details. And that's essentially what people want in relationships. And sometimes people say, I'm not your punching bag. They will literally say this in a relationship to their partner. I'm not your punching bag. What does that mean? Is we've come together in love, and instead of being in love, I'm the one you want to hit and hurt because of your resentments in life. And I've become your punching bag. And they then presume that love is you allowing that to happen. That if you really love me, you will let me. You will become my punching bag willingly. If you're a man, you would take it on the chin or something like this. Or these perceptions also exist. You see. Now, if she has those perceptions, which you don't know until, and it's not your business, if she does have them, she will be alone in them when you're no longer the one who's creating that fight with her.
Yes, so I realized that already, that it's not good if I too much business. I can give you another example. So she has back problem.
Yeah,
that's why she complained about the movie. And we went for a walk last Sunday, and sometimes she had to stop because her back was too hurtful. And say, well, this is really bad. You have to see someone,
Yeah.
And then because she's very opinionated and she has not a lot of money, and so she's very careful. And she said, oh, no, I can't do this because... So she always wants to solve everything by herself. And I said, okay, I've told you what I thought you should see a doctor or a physiotherapist, or even, I could pay for a massage if you want, because you can't stay in pain. And when she stayed on her position, I decided, well, let's not talk about it anymore because, we're not going to get to an argument. So I tried to stay out of a business about the back because I could see it was not leading anywhere. So I think I'm getting aware that at some point she has to resolve a thing by herself, and a bit like you're saying, I can't just be involved in everything.
Well, the subtlety of being in someone's business or not is how you bring forward the should, even when the should is very thoughtful, reasonable, perhaps even seemingly loving. You should go and get a massage, for example. Even the way you would say it, this is already in their business.
Yes.
Being out of their business naturally comes with a question. Now you will tune in with this in yourself. You can still use a question manipulatively to be in someone's business. Absolutely. There's no way out of it. You've only got to know for yourself. But notice in the relating, the more out of their business you are, that you're more curious in the way that you would look at something or deal with something. So have you thought of this? Or has it occurred to you that this may be the case, or this could be supportive, or whatever the thing? And it's like they then sort of sit with that and, oh, no, I don't like this, or I don't want to do that, or da-da-da-da-da. It doesn't mean 100% or anything that because you know how to orchestrate a clever sentence like in a question form that you're not in someone's business at all, because you can still be very irritated and triggered by them not sort of responding very well to your question, and that type of thing. So just be noticing, notice that how your dialogue sort of plays and how you feel when they don't reciprocate.
So it's a matter of using the right sentence.
No. It's a matter of being authentic, but being aware of how you it's an awareness practice, isn't it? We look at dialogue, right?
Yeah.
And in dialogue, it's like, oh, you should go get a massage. Well, you already know where that's coming from in it already to start with.
Judgement, yeah.
In a way, I mean, I'm sure there's genuine concern there as well.
Yes.
But it's more for the other person receiving that, like someone's telling me what to do.
Yes.
Right. Have you, or even a sharing? I found when I've had back pain or physical pain, I really get a lot of value out of a massage. So that's a sharing version.
Yeah.
So in this case, you're not even asking or telling, you're just sharing, right? And then they can go, yeah, I may have I've thought about that. It's way too expensive. I don't have the time for that, da-da-da. And that they may respond this way.
Yeah.
But you're noticing for yourself the way that they receive your, say, sharing or question or whatever.
Yeah.
If it irritates you, if it creates a contraction in you, that this person's not willing to, they're not willing to do this. They're not willing to change because, and that's going to affect my life. What if they don't make this change? And so we've got the what if, right? and their back pain gets worse and worse and worse, and we can't go anywhere, and she's stuck at home, and this is my future person, and now I'm looking after her, and oh my God, like this is quickly, where things go. Yes.
Yeah. And I would say it's a bit of a concern in general because, it sounds very pretentious to say that, but I feel I'm growing because I'm doing this work. So I want things to change in my life,
Yeah.
And I feel each time I'm touching on something, a job or back pain or whatever, she's kind of stuck. She doesn't want to move.
Yes.
So it's a bit of a general thing. Like I feel I want things to move for me, and she's a bit, and I have to accept that, like we're not in the same dynamic.
Okay, wait. Let's look at this. I have to accept that. Who is the I that is speaking right now?
Maybe someone who doesn't want to be alone.
Yeah, that was a really fast response, and to my sense, quite accurate. Because those who truly want peace, which is very few people, because most people would prefer to be not alone in drama,
yes,
than alone in peace.
Mm.
Okay. But you are choosing to learn self-intelligence. So you are choosing the path of peace. You are choosing the path of joy, right? So in that case, your responsibility is purely to cleaning up your inner nonsense, your inner fears, your inner judgments, your inner expectations, all of those things that create friction and suffering in a relationship. If she's not willing to clean herself, then you won't have a compatible situation. Okay. The energy frequencies won't meet each other and flow together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When two people come together, they come together on a certain frequency that makes sense. And then everything starts to move. And then they try to control everything to stay in the frequency so that they can not be alone. And as you've discovered in this work, one of our greatest fears that drives most of our behavior is the fear of being alone. And it's mostly unconscious for everybody, right? So I have to accept this. That is going to lead to, from the place that came from fear, to suppression, to denial, to lying, to compensating, to expecting, to resentment. Because if I suppress what's true for her, she better do the same for me. That's the expectation that happens, and it happens automatically and unconsciously. It's not something that you get to say, well, no, I would never do that to somebody. You know, I wouldn't be resentful of her because she just kept making choices that were stuck and eventually put me in a very challenging situation, right? So in these beginning stages of a relationship, the impeccability on your behalf to not try to control this relationship to work is critical if you don't want to live the rest of your days in unfathomable drama.
Yeah.
And what does that drama look like? Two people who are basically roommates who don't have sex, who don't want to go anywhere with each other. And if they do, it's like feeling like obligation. You know, it's this drudgery of a place where it's like, if we're honest, we put up with each other. That's where you would place it, you know. And of course, this often takes place way down the line for a lot of people, you know, a few years down or whatever the case is, right? But as you've seen, the honeymoon period ended pretty quick, right? 6 weeks or something, the honeymoon's gone. So it's like a relationship is not worth your peace. Okay. Because that is your relationship. That is your primary relationship. Is the relationship that is primary is truth. Truth is love, and both of these things are not personal. And both of these things exist outside the parameters of identity. So when she triggers you, you are taking that trigger into truth because your relationship is with truth.
Yeah.
What you just said before, which seems so innocent, is I think I just have to accept this in a way that was not from truth.
Well, I've said that because it's going to be hard to find a girl, a woman that is on the path that I'm in terms of most people, like you probably know, just want to stay how they are. They're not in a growth kind of dynamic. So I'm just thinking.
But wait. Stop. If you are inherently fulfilled as you are in the realization of yourself. If discovering who you are exceeds any possible thing you could experience, that you could attain, that you could achieve, put that in perspective to reducing yourself to something that comes down to, well, you know, the probability is, you know, people who may follow this path is pretty low and like you've reduced the infinite down to like a sitcom. Right?
It's yeah.
And it's like, you don't know what's possible when you're emanating in the vibration of the truth of who you are. You don't know what you're going to attract. You don't know what's coming your way.
Yeah.
But the ego mind is in control going, Well, no, I do know the probability of someone having a relationship at my age and, in my situation. And I've got a really good thing here. I'm pretty lucky. So I better sort of sacrifice myself, meaning truth, right? For the possibility of actually having a relationship. And I mean, many people have to do this to find out, and find out and experience, but you're already experiencing it.
Yeah.
And you can endure this drama for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. Or you bring such intensity of truth right now, and she'll either meet you there or she won't. And none of that's in your control. Just like it's not in your control that if you suppress that she would stay with you or love you or not make you alone or whatever the case.
What do you mean, like putting some truth, like telling her telling her what, like she has to be on a growth kind of pattern, or what?
That's inherent. That she has to be on a growth path if you're on a growth path, energetically, not by demand. Not by demand. I mean, demand will only reduce you into the energy frequency that you're in right now. I'm saying, because if you're truly on the path that I'm suggesting, then in order to vibrate with you, she will have to meet you there. Otherwise, it'll feel too alone for her. It won't. When an ego meets an ego, it needs an ego to exist. It needs an ego to hit against.
Yeah.
To go, oh, I know where my position is. I know my position in this, you see.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're positionless, which is what you're discovering, right? So when you have an argument, what happens is you had a position.
Yeah.
Is that true? You had a position.
Yes.
And then you realized I had a position and the position caused a trigger. Okay?
Yes.
So then you do the work and you remove your position. And then you said, what's the result of removing that position? We didn't fight. She slept over. We had sex, whatever it is. You didn't say that, but I'll just add that in. And it was great. Okay. Why was it great? Because I removed my position in that way. Okay. That's your whole job. That's it. That's your whole purpose in this life. Remove your position like this. Okay. Now, if she wants to keep her position, if you would like to download a free beginner self-recognition guided meditation audio to start your journey of healing and freeing yourself from the inside out, see the link in the description or go to selfintelligence.com. She has to have someone who's holding a position to reflect that back. Does that make sense? If you're not holding a position and she's holding a position, she's now alone. And she'll go, I don't want to be doing this. I want to be with someone. I want to be with someone. Now, where does that show up? I'll help you understand, because it doesn't show up the way you might presume. So you're being not holding a position means that you can flood her with love. Okay. And her position says that doesn't make sense to my identity. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then so the relationship can crumble simply because she won't be able to handle or able to receive the love that you have to offer. But oftentimes when I say you don't hold a position or she feels alone, it's like, oh, I'm just like removed from the situation or something like this is often the images that come to mind when I use words like that. But actually the opposite is true. When you remove your position, you're more involved, you're more present. Okay.
Yeah.
But this presence is so not on the same frequency as the stories of being rejected and fear and all these things, right? What reflects that story? Arguments, disagreements, drama, distancing, all of the things that happen, war, game playing, all of these things that happen in relationships, okay? They all reflect that we are together. Not love. Love doesn't reflect that we are together, because love is the absence of me, the person who would do all those things. Oftentimes when people are spiritually conceptual in relationship, they think that withdrawing themselves is doing the work. And it's like, no, that's just another kind of passive control like going on that, it's not love. That's not how love
But
manifest.
when you say all of those things, I feel some resistance in me. Like I feel like I don't want to lose this connection. I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to, you
Yes.
know, when the other day we share a fish and chips near the sea, and it was good. It was nice.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I don't want to lose that, like
Exactly.
So I can see some resistance when you said those things, like about being really true to myself.
So, okay, those things will only become more of a potential with what I'm suggesting, not less, but more.
Mm.
If you guys are arguing, if you guys are constantly in polarity with each other, those moments you just said, they will disappear. But you'll still be living together, for example, but you will not have those moments you just spoke about. I'm talking about actually ensuring, in a sense, that you have more of those moments. Okay? That's what I'm actually talking about. However, you have to risk the relationship to have them.
Yes.
Do you see that?
No, I think a discussion between me and her is needed about where do we take it from there, and what do we want, and we already talked about that it's nonsense just to spend time on arguing. So I feel the answer is to talk to her about that, and how she's ready to, I wouldn't say make it work, because no, how she's ready to come out of her ways to.
Okay, let's go there. Tell me how you would have this conversation, because I want to see if the person who's essentially driven by fear is having this conversation, who wants to control this connection, who's afraid of losing this connection. Is this the one having the conversation?
Yeah, probably.
Because what I notice is the more that you are sincere about the truth, the less conversation you have to have, because it's already happening.
Yeah, and I'm actually very relaxed when I'm detached, and I just take this relationship as it goes, and I don't have an expectation. Then I feel, there's no problem. I can just,
yes.
Next time we're gonna see the rugby, and it will be fun.
Yep.
But when I have those projections in the future and this fear, then it becomes a nightmare. So yeah.
Okay, so the nightmare happens when you fear losing it, you see?
Yes.
And the only reason you fear losing it is because you've lost yourself. So the relationship is so brilliant, so sacred. This relationship is sacred because it is illuminating what you would not have had the opportunity to see so clearly.
Yes.
In your everyday life, you wouldn't know how afraid you are of losing something the way that you are discovering at the moment, right? Because it's not as valuable to you, and not, essentially that. And now it's like, look what happens when I'm afraid. Look what happens. I become toxic. I enter these types of clashing arguments and defensive positions and so on. So what conversation do I need to have other than to drop my end of it?
Yeah.
Right? To drop my end of it. And when in the dropping of your end of it, you are so natural to the moment that will be the conversation.
Yes.
Okay. So rather than thinking we need to have a conversation about the new conversation, just start with the new conversation, which is you doing the work to drop your shit in it. Then let the conversation emerge out of that.
Yes.
And it will be a true conversation.
Yes.
Then you're not going to be the things that you are actually getting your mirror back. You're not going to be the manipulator that you fear her to be. Because I tell you what, if you have the conversation from where you're coming from right now, you're going to be the manipulator that you're afraid that she's being. and she will feel that, not maybe understand that consciously, but she will feel that and then just reject it.
Yeah.
You see?
Yes,
And then you get confirmation. Like, this is how the eyes go, I can't trust this person. She's not ready to do this. Like, she's not prepared for this stuff. And then
I knew it.
Yeah, I knew it. Exactly. Yeah. The I know mind comes in, and I knew, exactly. I knew it. And yes, so most people can relate to this dance, this very challenging very challenging dance, but has a simple antidote, has a simple recipe to shift. But your impeccability, your sincerity has to be at the highest place. Because you right now look like you're willing to forego yourself for this.
Yes.
Okay. And maybe that's what you do. Maybe that's part of maybe that's the learning you have to have. I mean, there's no issue with that either, really. We're just being conscious about it. Sometimes losing yourself is a part of finding yourself, of course, right? So, but you're asking me, you're talking to me, you've booked a session, you know, to have this discussion with me. So we're going to talk about it as it is. Are you a disciple of truth, meaning that you clear out your nonsense when you see it? When you clear out your fear when you see it, you clear out your projections when you see it, and not make her part of it like it's your business that she shows up to something. And if she's unwilling, you'll be so grateful to find that out the right way. It will not be something you want to find out that she's unwilling to follow your bullshit manipulation strategy. You won't feel good with that. You'll feel confused. You'll feel doubtful, all of those things. But if you come to truth in yourself and she doesn't want to find you there, she doesn't want to meet you there, you won't be regretful about that. Not at all. Or you'll be actually, you'll be grateful that she supported you to find such degree of stability in yourself. You'll only be grateful for that.
She knows about the work, and she calls me the new improved. So she's supporting me. She said, well, I can see the changes and you're much better than 1 year ago. So I'm sharing with her what I'm doing.
Yes.
And
perfect. Yes. Yeah. So my suggestion just for now is to continue that course, just to be reminded today of asking the question quite a lot, whose business is this? All right. In the inquiry, when you get triggered or when you feel like she needs to do more of the work or that type of thing, she needs to get on board. Whose business is this? Okay. As soon as you ask that question, you'll know that you're coming from fear, you're coming from attachment, all of that sort of stuff. You do your work and then you just shower this woman with love. And that is just who you are. When you're not in fear, that is who you are. And it's not just her you shower with love. It's just everybody. It's not personal. It's unconditional. Love is unconditional. It's not conditional to her, right? Your sister will get more love. Your mum will get more love. Your friend will get more love. The acquaintance at work will get more love. Everybody will get more love because they're not getting the fearful, defensive, ego-based self. Okay? That's the reminder today, right? So you know the work, you know the trigger work, you know the inquiry to do to get there, and being a part of the self-intelligence community, you can be continually reminded when you go into a coma of fear thought, right? Which will happen. You're going to get challenged big time, right? You're going to get very much challenged. And it's very helpful at those times to get the reminder, get the perspective. I was so tunnel visioned. I required that perspective and go, wow, far out. I've forgotten what was important for a moment, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
nice.
yeah, it's a good thing, this relationship, to put lights on some of the things, being aware, like I can see that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I feel like we can wrap it up there.
Yes. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much for bringing this subject. So many people who are starting a relationship will be able to take a different approach and even know that there's a possible different approach, right? That's even available, because that's what's so unaware is we just accept that this is how we do it in humanity. This is how it goes. We just do it like this. This is normal, right?
Yeah.
It's like seeing, well, 50% or whatever people are obese in the world, or in our country, for example. It's like, so do we say that that's accepted as normal when there's so many toxic or, health issues that stem from that, right? In relationship, we think it's normal to have an ego war basically happening in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not. It's normal in the sense that that's what mostly happens, but it's not actually necessary, you see. Okay, so yeah, great great conversation to bring
Yeah,
up,
it
and we'll
was.
continue with whenever you get really stuck, bring it up in the community, bring it up. What's something you get really like, no, I believe this to be true, right? Because they're the ones that are going to get you big time.
Thanks. No, it was really good. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you got value out of this, please share it so that other people can benefit also. For more information about self-intelligence, including joining my next Wake Up experience or detailed information about my self-intelligence course, go to selfintelligence.com.